Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unique Peace. I am Janice. I'm the Quiet Healer here on Long Island. I am a Reiki Master Teacher and Medium, and today I am joined by my other half, Michael Zinn, videographer, photographer, all-around creative professional.
Hello, good morning.
He has the Projector.Project. He created human dollars, and he is the host of the Livestream of Consciousness, which is a vodcast on YouTube, Facebook Live on Thursday nights at 9 Eastern. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about being here. This is cool. This is your first in-studio guest.
Yes, you are. So, you have the Projector.Project, and that led to Human Dollars, which in an odd way has led to other things. So, kind of walk us through that.
Well, I guess first of all, the Projector.Project is a photography project. So I saw an artist who was using a projector as a light source, shining images on his models and taking pictures, and it was just really cool. I've always been into the human figure and figure studies kind of imagery, and this was a real new twist on it. I've always been into digital technology and visual mediums, so it was a cool combination. So I started shooting images like that of models, and then one day when I was editing the images, just the way the figure was and the way the image looked to me, in my head I heard, do symmetry, flip it around and go back to back, and I did that and it looked so cool, and I started playing with it a little bit further and eventually came up with 8 flips that created kind of this mandala looking kind of art, which I thought was really cool. And I've never really been into mandala art before, but there was something about it that spoke to me. And I love play on words, and it was a human and it was a mandala, so I came up with Humandala, and that became the Humandala series of artwork. And I think that as I was working with that artwork, it was cool because it was way before all this AI stuff started. Well, not way before it, but like, again, I was always into technology, and I started to see deeper meanings in it. The way I was projecting digital imagery onto human forms, and kind of this combination of technology and biology, I guess, or organic. Yeah, I kind of have taken it further, I guess, in the meanings of it, and I started to use imagery like circuit boards and things that kind of were a little bit more less abstract and more direct, so other people could kind of get the meanings. But yeah, that's kind of, I guess, probably the latest photography expression that I've been doing has been the Human Dollars and the Projector.Project.
And with the Livestream of Consciousness, you started off with Jesse Blaze, and you're now solo in a way.
Yeah.
So how does one morph from that? How does it feel going from a co-host to being on your own?
That whole experience has been really amazing, as I'm sure you're experiencing now with your show. This was an amazing kind of evolution of that, even, I think. And I, being a video guy, I produce my own artwork, but I'm also able to produce stuff for other people. So with Jesse Blaze, what I was doing was he was giving what was it called? The 13 Universal Laws, according to Jesse Blaze. He was giving a course at a wellness center, and it was during COVID. So we created a online video version of it, and I was producing that for him. And after he was done with it, he was really into it. He liked, talking to an audience and connecting with an audience online. And he said, let's continue this. And what if you come on as my co-host? And I had really kind of always purposely orchestrated my life to interesting. I noticed I'm like looking off to the side. It's like I'm looking over there, but you're over here. I had always curated my life. Now I forgot what I was going to say. to be on the other side of the camera. That's what it is. I always kind of orchestrated. I wasn't interested in being on camera, and talking to Jesse's got such a charismatic personality and the way he speaks, and he loves to speak to people and connect, and I just kind of picked up on that, and it felt so good to connect to people and have conversations and use this platform for that reason. So I was a co-host with him for a while. He moved back to the West Coast, and then basically it was remote, so we were both in the separate windows, kind of like you usually do, and we would interview people in a third window. And then he kind of got busy. He got back into his voiceover work and his comic book work, and couldn't really commit to once a week. So I took it over, and it's been amazing. It's been so cool to use this platform to connect people together, and you know one-on-one as I'm talking to them, and then allow other people to kind of watch the conversation. It's been cool to get the feedback of people enjoying that. And then I kind of said that this was a bit of an evolution of that, and I think being a couple and you kind of watching me do what I did, I think you saw certain things in me. I'm guessing. I don't know. We never really discussed it.
No, we haven't.
But I think you saw certain things about it that interested you. Like I said, out of my comfort zone in front of the camera instead of behind the camera really brought out a part of my personality that was kind of always there, but kind of dormant. And I love it, and I love doing it. I love watching you do it because I see you smiling, and I see you happy to get to know people and talk to people. You call yourself the quiet healer because you're more on the introverted side. You don't really, you're not you don't need to be the center of attention in a room. And obviously that's one of the things I love about you, but I think you also are very powerful and important, and do have something to say and do have something to share. So I love the fact that you took it on your own to say, hey, I want to do a show, and you found such a great topic to talk about, which I'm sure we're going to get into. And it's just a great way to use this platform. I'm really happy about this right here, this box around us.
So, with all of that, what brings you peace? What would you say brings you peace?
I find peace in a lot of ways. I think it's important to be able to do that. There's no, you know, I guess for me, with whatever I do, with work, with day to day, I don't like to do the same thing every day. I like to vary it up. And, so I've tried to curate my life and my job to be there, where I can do different things every day. And I find peace in different ways. So one of the ways is this, like I said, I talking to people, making connections. I was never really a super social person. I was kind of antisocial. I didn't love to talk to people. I didn't love crowds. I still probably don't love crowds too much, but I can appreciate them on a different level. And connecting to people really does give me peace. And my show started through, I was like, oh, I have so many interesting people that I know that I can interview and would be really interesting. And it started that way with people I know. And then I started inviting people I didn't know. People were suggesting guests to me and stuff like that. And that was awesome, getting to know new people. And on the live stream of consciousness, the first thing I do is ask, what is consciousness? And that question is so cool because every answer is right. Everybody's got a perspective of what that is. And I think they all, no matter what you think consciousness is, you're right. You in some way, you know what I mean? That's an aspect of consciousness. Whatever it is that you think consciousness is an aspect of it. So I feel like, it's a cool show, and I like being able to look back. I mean, I've been doing it for probably 2 years, and I like being able to look back and see a library of content that I've created, and not not content for content's sake of social media, but conversations, real important moments that I can look back and remember, and connections that I can look back and remember and see why they might have been relevant at the time.
Now, do you find peace and creativity?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. That was one of the other ways I find peace. The human dollars and my photography. That's absolutely a way to channel, source. I think, for me, I realized that channeling is something that I've had some people on my show that do channeling, and that was something I never really even knew what it was. And that's a very specific expression of connecting to source. When they say, oh, I'm a channeler, and they a lot of times, if you don't know what channeling is, people will go into a trance. Or for the audience out there, I know you know what it is, but people will go into a trance and speak a message from another source. And that's really what channeling is. But I think
That's not just what channeling is.
that's part of what channeling. That's what a
Yes.
channeler does, a quote
Quote,
unquote channeler.
okay, yes.
Right. But I think, and that's what I was saying, is that I think channeling is more than that. You can connect to source in many ways. So I look back on my life and I can see myself in the basement with my best friend playing music, and realizing that at that moment I was channeling. I was connecting to source. I was connecting to my friend. We were creating music together and creating a moment, and that was really connecting to source. So yeah, I think any way you can connect to source is going to feel peaceful, I think. So yes, and there's a lot of ways to do that. That's what I meant when I said, there's a lot of things that I do that
Yes.
find peace. So, I mean, just being with you and having coffee on a Sunday morning, sitting out on the porch is awesome. This morning, we walked out on the porch, and there were a whole bunch of
10.
snails, at least 10 snails. If you follow me on Facebook, I'm going to probably post it. I think Janice will probably post it too. But yeah, I mean, that was just so nice to, it was like almost a moment, like the universe saying, hey, here's some friends that want to hang out, and that was peaceful, I think. And I think, it's being able to connect to the moment. So mindfulness, um, being present. I think those are the things that bring me peace.
And how do you like to bring peace to others? How do you find ways in which to bring peace to others?
It really depends on the other. Everybody finds peace in different ways. I feel like connecting to other people and being able to engage with them in whatever it is that you can tell is bringing them peace. When you connect with somebody, I think in a good way, because you can connect with people in so many ways. When you connect with someone in a good way, it's a giving and a receiving relationship. I guess even excuse me, even when you connect to someone in a bad way, like you're having an argument, it's a giving and receiving. You're just giving and receiving that intense kind of low frequency energy. So any high frequency exchange, I think, and that's really the way I try to live my life. I try to go into a situation, and if it seems difficult to navigate, I try to see what I can give to the situation, and I try not to get frustrated with the situation isn't necessarily working out for me. I try to just navigate the situation and accept the things that aren't working out for me. I think that's also a way to give peace to others, because you're not freaking out in the situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess I kind of got sidetracked about giving peace to others, but I guess just being an understanding and compassionate person with others uh, is a very subtle way to give peace to others, and just make and just they feel comfortable around you. They don't know why, but they do, and they're not going to question it. They're just going to enjoy the fact that they feel comfortable. So I like that I can do that. I like that I can mostly be in that mode. I mean, I'm a human being, of course, and I'm not always on 100%. Yesterday was not the best. It was just like a day off after an insane week of chaos. So like, sometimes you just kind of shut down. But even that, I mean, was peaceful, certainly.
Excuse
Bless you.
me.
It was peaceful, not doing anything and really not feeling pressure to be somewhere or do something, so even that can be peaceful.
Definitely, I agree with that 100%. Now, do you find you bring peace through your creativity, and specifically with the human dollars and even the fractals that you've started to do with the Projector.Project? And I invite everybody to go to photosynthesis.com to check out the human dollars specifically in this for this conversation. But overall, do you find that when you're creating that you are bringing peace?
Definitely, I think in many ways. I mean, certainly there are people who enjoy looking at the images that I create, and that's one, kind of, I guess, the most straightforward way to create art and bring peace to others. But I think because I'm a photographer and I work with models a lot, you know, I think it brings peace to them as well, to see these creations and that they're a part of these creations. It's always, the people that I work with are creative and they love that, so I think it brings peace to them. And yeah, I mean, again, as an artist, I would hope people enjoy my work and find peace, looking at my work.
And when you are finding peace, and it's kind of symbiotic in finding peace and giving peace, what are your favorite places to go or do when you're like, yesterday it was very stressful, but we just did nothing and we just relaxed, and that was peaceful. But at the same time, we could have gone to the water, we could have gone to the forest,
Sure.
we could have gone. So where are your favorite places to go?
Well, I mean, I think with what you're saying, you bring up a good point. It's kind of like if you are intentionally looking to find peace, I think you can. And we, fortunately, I think we've been able to do that, right? So we found peace yesterday doing nothing, but we could, like you said, we could have walked to the water and we would have found peace sitting at the water. And that some of my favorite places, I love turning people on to new places that have excited me. So we went to Mohonk Mountain a couple years back, and I'm excited to go there again this summer. Somebody had turned me on to that place, and it was just an amazing experience. And since then, I've turned a few people onto that place. I've been back, and when I took Janice and her son Jeffrey, it was just amazing to, after it, talk about it and how it felt. And I think it was an amazing experience for everyone, which brought peace, in its cool way.
So
That's one place. I mean, there are typical places. I love to go down to sit by the water. Anywhere I'm on a beach is I would say 99% of the time peaceful, 99.9% of the time probably.
yes, I know.
Hiking in the woods, kind of nature. Nature is a very, very peaceful energy to be in, especially if you can let go and be mindful and really connect to the moment that you're sharing with nature. Yeah.
And if you were to advise somebody, not so much on where to go, but how to find peace on their own, what are your recommendations there?
I've been talking about this a little bit lately. The whole spirituality community. I don't love a lot of the buzzwords. I don't love that people, talk about the spiritual journey and things like that, because I think that the spiritual journey is life, is the life journey, and I don't think we need these buzzwords, but I certainly understand. So I think I go back to the basics, which is meditation. I think learning how to meditate, which a lot of people are very scared of, it seems, oh, I can't do that, I can't shut my mind off. It's really not about shutting your mind off, I think. I think it's about opening up your mind and being aware of everything, and then understanding how to kind of give it a priority in your field. There's a thought. Oh, am I going to engage that thought, or am I going to just let it go by? Certain things like that. So meditation, I think, is a good place to start for anybody who is seeking peace, because I think it's all inside, and meditation really helps you connect to yourself, which you have to connect to first before you can connect to anything else.
Right. And if you're watching and would like to join in the conversation, please do so. The call-in number is, whoops, I'm sorry, I don't have that up yet. My apologies.
Oh, hold on, we gotta take down the banner. Yeah, hold on.
631-306-4118. And anybody who wants to call in and join the conversation, please feel free to do so. There is about a 45-second delay, just so you're aware.
Well, not when you're talking on the phone.
Not when you're talking on the phone?
There's a 45-second delay from what we're saying now till when it goes onto YouTube. But when we're on the phone, if you do call in, you need to turn off the YouTube volume, because there's a 45-second delay to that. Yes.
It's like calling into the radio station.
Yes,
exactly. And having your radio on, and then the DJ saying, please turn your radio down.
That's exactly
so
what
that's what the equation is. I've done that, obviously.
Yes. I think we've all done it.
So what is your favorite way to, now we talked about how you find peace. How's your favorite way to create peace? Do you like music, photography?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, so, you said it at the beginning. I mean, I'm a creator, right? So obviously photography and video and my artwork is one way that I like to create peace in a way. I mean, that's creating a piece, PEICE, right? That somebody could look at and get peace from, PEACE. But I'm also a musician, so playing music is an amazing way to get peace, because not only am I playing music and in that moment and channeling and connecting to the guys in the band or whoever I'm playing with, but the people who are listening are receiving that, and everybody loves music, so
it is the universal language.
It's a universal language, exactly. So I think music, probably more than most things, is a great way to create peace in all sorts of ways. You know what I mean? Creating peace, giving peace, receiving peace, being peace. I think that's probably, a real good way to express it and get into that frequency. I should be playing music more.
Yes, you should. No, that's what makes you happy.
Yes, it is. It's a really unique way to connect to source, for sure.
Yeah. As you had stated earlier, you aren't antisocial, but you're not super social. And I totally understand that, because I am super introverted. I'm the one at the party who will step back and observe all the players and figure out who I resonate with and I want to get to know, or who I will unfortunately cling to for the rest of the night. So you taking a step back in, I don't know, for me, sometimes social situations are very draining. So finding peace in just like connecting with one or a few people is easier in a big crowd. How do you, like, if you were in a social situation and it's like overwhelming, what would be your fastest way to peace?
I think you hit it on the head. I think kind of focusing in on somebody there, and just kind of focusing on that connection instead of trying to connect with everything that's going on. I know we went out recently a couple of times to see some live music. We didn't really know anybody there. And, just being there with you, that was my peaceful kind of respite at the place. Like, here we are, this music going on, we can enjoy the music, we were enjoying it together. That we connected on our frequency to connect to the room. So I think I think connecting to somebody else, if you can, in a crowd, just focusing on one person and not focusing on the crowd or worrying, like you got to talk to so many people, like, or interact with anybody, just find one person,
And that's what makes networking interesting. Because
Yeah, but even I think even at a networking meeting, you can find one person,
I usually do.
Yeah, and just chill and hang out and be like, okay, I met one person. That's all. Isn't that successful? If you go to a networking meeting and you connect with one person, even on that deeper level, it's probably more successful
Absolutely
than just giving out your card to 10 people, and saying, hey, my name is this and that, and not really connecting,
Right. It would brings to like the pressures of a day.
Mhm.
In a work environment or in an entrepreneurial environment, you feel those pressures. I don't know about you, but it's kind of like a capsule closing in.
Right.
For me, the fastest way for me to find peace in those situations is taking a moment to breathe, even if I have to go to the ladies' room and recenter to go back in, because again, given the nature of what I do for a living, I have to remember to bubbleize myself and go and not absorb other people's energy or take it on, or some cases feel attacked, maybe tangentially, not directly. So for me, I have to go in to Lee's room or back outside and just take a moment to breathe.
Right.
So in those hectic environments that are everyday life, how do you find peace? It's a quick way to find peace.
Again, I'm gonna go back to just meditation, but even break that down to a simpler thing, breathing. I mean, you've always heard your whole life, just take a breath and count to 10, right? And it's like, oh, what the heck is that going to do? And I think when you're younger, you don't really get that, but I think once you're able to, like, meditation really shows you how to connect to your breath, right? And what that means, and kind of, you close your eyes and you breathe in, and you concentrate on how the air feels going through your nose and down your throat into your lungs, and you feel all that, you experience it. So I think that was going to be the answer to the question somehow. Restate the question. That was kind of like, that's the basis of
in a hectic situation.
Yeah, in a hectic situation.
Just a hectic life situation.
Yeah, just breathe, just close your eyes, breathe in, feel the breath, feel the energy of life, the life force, in yourself, and that, whatever's outside of yourself is outside of yourself. Center yourself. I guess that's what breathing does. It's like, it brings you back to center. You breathe in, you close your eyes, you're like, I am me, I'm here in this situation, and I'm awesome, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna be a part of this awesome situation, even if it isn't so awesome.
I also find, I don't know about you, but when it's hurry, 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 sometimes the best way to hurry is to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sometimes it is, our great friend Steve Interante often talks about the hamster wheel, of life. Life is this hamster wheel. You're just like, oh my God, what's next? What's next? This, that, the other thing. And, really, you got to get off of that hamster wheel. It's not even just about slowing down. It's getting off that hamster wheel every once in a while and just chilling out, and knowing it's okay to take a moment off of that hamster wheel, because the hamster wheel's there. You're going to get back on, and you're going to have to, spin it around a bunch of times, just to spin it around. I don't even know why we spin the hamster wheel, but we do.
Yes, the hamster wheel is a go-to, but it's also the mundane. Sometimes there's peace in the mundane, but also at the same time there's being trapped in the mundane.
Yep. Well, I think, and we've talked about this too, I think the mundane, what is the mundane? I mean, sometimes the mundane is the comfort zone, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's like, you want it to be, that's the peace in the mundane, when you're like, okay, this is my routine. I get it. I feel comfortable just doing this. But then there's the aspect where you look at it and you're like, man, I'm just doing the same thing every day. This is getting, I need to do something different. I need to step out of this. I think I think comfort zones are important. In a way, you need to kind of feel like this. I don't want to say control, but I guess it is. You need to feel in control
or safe.
or safe.
It's safe.
The only issue is once you feel safe, you're not going anywhere. You're not growing. You're not really expanding. So it's a double-edged sword, the comfort zone.
Yes.
But I think, again, as you become more aware of who you are and what you want to do and be, you're able to move yourself through those comfort zones, in and out of them. Again, I feel like this for you was going out of your comfort zone, and now it's becoming a comfort zone, right? It's becoming, for me, my live stream of consciousness was a commitment. It was something that I had to create and commit to, and it was my happy place, and now it is. It is my happy place. So is it a bit of a comfort zone? It is, and I would love to grow it, and maybe I got to step out of it. I love this idea of this call-in line here. Call-in line. Because that is going to bring another aspect to it. And I think I'm going to start doing that on my show. I started producing Grace Grella's show, and
we love Grace Grella.
We love Grace Grella. That's where this came from. I had to explore being able to bring call-ins to her, and it was really simple. It was just stepping out of my comfort zone, and I grew from it. And now we can do it. I mean, it's a Sunday morning, so there's probably not a lot of people who are going to call in. I hope people are catching this on the replay. It is such a great show. And I do love listening to your conversations, and today being a part of your conversation. Yeah, it's awesome.
So, as you know, the final question I like to ask my guests is if you were in those hectic moments, and we all have them, you're in those hectic moments and you're just like, I for lack of, being able to scream, because that's bad, especially at work, unless you're being directed to scream, or you go into your car and have some scream therapy. Guilty. So what's in your toolbox that's a quick, not quick fix, but quickly helps you recenter that others can use? I know you keep going back to meditation, but there are times in the moment where that is not possible.
That's a bit of a trick question, because the thing that I'm thinking in my head right now is not everybody's going to relate to, and that is plant medicine. I smoke from time to time. All the time? No.
No, not all the time, please.
I think certain things that, I guess, I don't want to say I feel like smoking cigarettes is not good for you, but I feel like I can relate to it because of smoking marijuana, and just knowing the physiological effects that it has on me. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely, I can feel myself calming down, and I guess, so you're saying as a quick way, you know what I mean? I think, if I can't calm down, I could try that and say, okay, I'm just going to go take a hit or whatever and relax. And I think that's one way. Again, it's may not be popular with some people, and it is popular with other people.
Right.
So I'm just being a little transparent there. But what else? Again, I think everything we talked about. So anything that I know brings me peace. Music, taking pictures, artwork. I could always sit down at my computer and try to, create something. I can sit down with a guitar, which, again, I need to do more of, getting back to the more organic. I think, for me, because my career is all digital and on the computer, that's kind of where I head first. That's kind of a comfort zone for me, sitting in front of my computer at a Photoshop application or a 3D application or a video application, just creating. But that equates to going and sitting on the couch and playing the guitar. You know what I mean? I know so many people who, feeling tense, they just, want to just relax. They'll just pick up a guitar, sit down, and get inside their own head, start writing a song, or just start playing something, or even singing a song they already know. It doesn't have to be creating. It could just be expressing, expressing a song.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any other words of wisdom in finding peace overall in today?
I think, yes, I think love yourself is an important piece of advice in any sort of success. So finding peace, especially, if you love yourself, you can feel peaceful, and those are the building blocks that will help you go forward. Those are the building blocks that will help uh, the right energies attract to you. Once you find a certain level of peace, I think peace comes to you. You know what I mean? Certain things come to you once you find certain levels and certain things. Everything opens up. So
Okay.
love yourself. That's my advice.
Perfect. So I am excited because next week I have a very special guest. For those who are familiar, she has written several books. She is worldwide. She's known worldwide. Her name is Echo Bodine. I'll be excited to have her on.
Awesome.
The Unique Peak broadcast is going to be a little bit later. She's in Minnesota. So we're going to have the show at 1 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. Super excited. So look out for that reminder. Again, if you are on YouTube, I highly recommend you subscribe and get notified. If you are watching on Facebook, head on over to YouTube and go ahead and subscribe and get notified, because that one's going to be special. I'm really looking forward to it. I've read a couple of her books. I didn't realize she's written 8 books.
Wow.
And I've written A Still Small Voice, which was recommended to me by Pat Longo, who is one of my teachers. That's how I started off on my mediumship journey. And I'm really super excited because it's going to be fun. So thank you everyone for joining us this morning, and have a great, peaceful
Thank
day.
you.